way to start the morning. 30 odd pounds worth of beautiful French common. You join me in the beautiful Champagne region of France on the Brocard complex. I'm here with some of the other Nutrabaits team for a bit of a social and to try and get amongst some of the beautiful scaly fish that reside in these lakes. Now, we got here yesterday as the team and we met over at Jontry. Now, the Brocard lakes are run by the Scaly Waters team that also have other lakes such as Jontry and Evaro, and we met over at Jontry to do the draw, and luckily I came out second with Matt Bloomfield. The guys that came out first actually decided to go on Brocard Small, and we'll go into a bit more detail about the other lakes later on in the video. But we came out second, so we got first pick on Brocard Large and we came in peg 5. It's a beautiful double peg, loads of water, bit of deeper water over to the left where they drain the lake down, and shallower water over to the right. So we both wanted the left hand side, being the slightly deeper water being winter. So we flipped a coin, Matt won the left hand side, I got the right hand side. So we got the rods out yesterday, lovely and sweet. Matt managed to nick a few last night, so we'll have a little look at those right now. So as you can see, a lovely common and a really nice scaly mirror to start the session off for him. So great bit of angling for him, finding the deeper water with his bait boat. I probably would have struggled to get round there, to be fair, because I'm casting rather than using a bait boat. So good angling from him. Nothing for me last night, but I managed to get a couple of rods out there and a bit of bait around there. And that's the thing on these waters, you want to find your spots early on, make all your disturbance at the start of the week and stick to your spots and keep the bait trickling in. And I'm sure they're going to come along as the week goes on. So as we go through this video, we'll wander around the lake, take a look at some of the other team, how they're catching fish. Hopefully there'll be a few big uns out as well, and we'll just find out how they approach these kind of holiday venues to hopefully help you put more fish on the bank. Alright, so good morning, here we go. I'm finally off the mark. Yesterday was a bit hard going for me really, since I've been here. Struggled, not really seen anything, but finally this morning, got this nice little common, about 23 pound, rattled away. So yeah, happy to be off the mark. Hopefully something a bit bigger will come along. Matt in my swim's been having a few as well, and so's Ian over on Brocard Small. We're going to have a look at the other side of this, and then we'll slip it back, get the rods back out, and then we'll have a little chat about the bait and stuff that we're using over on Brocard Large. Really, really nice, not a mark on them. Lovely fish. All right, we'll slip this one back and then we'll have a look about how we're going about fishing here. All right, so I'm just going to knock up a bit more bait to get out there now that rod's gone out nice and easy. Now I'm using a really simple mix out there at the moment. It's based around the code boilie. So the first thing we're going to put in there though is a load of sweet corn. Now this time of year, we're still in February, sweet corn is really, really digestible, really highly visible and gives off loads of attraction. So we're going to chuck a load of that in there to start with. It's going to make up the bulk of the mix, probably 50%. To that we're going to add a bit of hemp. I'm going to chuck some of that in there. Give it a little mix up. Just to give loads of attraction in amongst the soup, to try and keep them grubbing around, try and keep a few fish in the area hopefully. Then to that we're going to add the code boilies. Now I've got these in 18mm, but I've cut them all in half. Before I came I wasn't too sure how deep the silt was going to be, so cutting them in half, baits flutter through the water really, really nicely and just sit on top of any sediment out there, so that's why I went with the halves. I've then glugged these in the code activator liquid and also then used the active bag mix that's now available, and they've come up really, really nice coated boilies. They're going to leak off loads of attraction into the water column as they go out there, and being glugged up before I came, they're going to let off loads and loads of that liquid attraction from the activator liquid over the time that they're out on the lake bed. So we're going to chuck a load of those in there, then we're going to give it a good mix up, and then the last thing we're going to add is the code sludge. Now this stuff has been out for a little while now, and it's an oil-based liquid, but it works differently in that it coats along the bottom of the lake, and as the fish come in and disturb it, it lets off little globules of oil through the water columns to help draw more fish in, but it also gives you that option of when oil hits the surface, it gives you a nice big flat spot so you know there's fish out there. So if you see the slick up there and you're not getting a bite, you know your rigs are probably sat wrong. So something else to add to the mix. So I just give it a good glop of that, and then we'll give it a nice big mix round, and we'll have a really nice high attract mix that's ready to go out there. That looks absolutely brilliant. So we've had those fish on it so far, so we can get some more bait out there. Probably going to put about 10 spawns over each spot. Again, not going crazy, we are still in February, but we wanted to put a bit of bait out there to help draw the fish in. So get this out there and see if we can get another one. Here we go, fish number 2 for me. This one came from the long range spot at 28 wraps. Again with the same code mix, but 2 little grains of orange plastic corn. Absolutely beautiful scaly fish, this one. I'd had the drone up, I was just filming the other lake, which is quite a way away, and the rod pulled up tight, and so me and Matt panicked. We got the drone back. Well, he helped me play the fish for a bit, and yeah, we swapped around and finally got it in the net. So absolutely buzzing, didn't crash the drone, and we got the fish in the net. So spin this one round. The lake seems to have picked up a little bit. Drone at the other end's had a nice fish.
Good afternoon. After 2 days without touching my rods, fishing my same spots, code does the magic. Almost 43 pounds, 19.5 kilo. Lovely common. Code does the job again. Happy days.
But yeah, the scales on these fish, man, for France fish, they are absolutely beautiful. They wouldn't go amiss in most English lakes. Absolutely stunning fish here at Brocard. And again, immaculate condition, mouths are perfect, exactly what you want from a fishing trip. We'll slip this one right back, get the rods out, get a bit more bait out there, and hopefully we can nick a few more before the end of the day. Alright, so I just slipped that fish back and it's time to get the rod back out. So I just thought I'd quickly talk you through the rig that I'm using here and why. It's quite a silty lake here at Brocard, so I've gone for a helicopter setup just to give me a bit of movement on the rig to make sure it's set nicely over the soft bottom. And it's just a section of coated braid with a little bit stripped off, fished multi-style on a size 4 lock hook with a couple of bits of plastic sweet corn over the top. Gone with the plastic just so it keeps the buoyancy the same even if I leave it out there. So having that plastic out there, I know they're going to be sat nice and sound out there for the whole time. So really simple setup, nothing too fancy or complicated out here. They're not really riggy fish, just need something reliable and strong. So going to get this back out there and see if we can get another one. Alright, so here we go. It's now Tuesday morning and it kicked off for me yesterday. I had 5 fish in total yesterday, 4 through the night, and I've just had one now for fish number 6. I put quite a bit of bait out yesterday evening and I was a little worried it might take a while for the bites to start coming, but yeah, it only took an hour or two for that first bite. Through the night I didn't put much out because there's not a lot of distance markers for me to aim at through the night, so I didn't want to put bait out in the wrong place, but I got the rod out roughly in the right area and the bites kept coming. So this morning when I got up, I redone the rod, put 5 spods over the top just to see, and within an hour or so it was away. So I've just put the rod back out there with another 5 spods again, all of the code and sweet corn mix. And we've had this lovely scaly big common, probably about 30 odd pounds. I haven't actually weighed it because Matt in my swim has just popped off in the car to the shops and the scales are in the back of it. But it's a lovely looking fish. Again, beautifully clean on this side, bit of a scar on the other side, but it's super lively, so we'll see if it will behave for you as we try and lift it up. But it's lively, as I say. Just take your time when they're like this. Super lively, wild male fish. So just give it a minute, let them calm down if you're in this situation. There's no need to rush, just take your time. Let them do their thing. They're not going to come to any harm in a decent mat. Still keeps tensing up on me. There we go. How about that? Beautiful way to start the morning. 30 odd pounds worth of beautiful French common. Caught on the code once again. A few other fish have been out around the lake. Over on the small lake, there's been about 10 fish out overnight to Ian and Richard, so we'll go over to them later on, catch up with them and see how they're getting on. So yeah, we'll slip this one back and see if we get another one before long. Okay, so going into Tuesday evening now, it's been quite quiet for me throughout the day, although I haven't been in my swim much at all, to be honest with you. Haven't had the rods out that much. Been out to the supermarket doing all that kind of stuff, getting me set for the rest of the week. But I have been around the lake. After I had that fish, Greg had an absolutely beautiful mid-30 common, so I went around and filmed that. So I'll just sneak in a bit of footage of that for you now.
Coach with the code on Camp Coach there. That's good.
Absolutely beautiful fish. I think he's had 4 fish up to now so far, so he's doing really well. He's on that side all on his own and he's just picking the fish off, so really good angling from him as always. Check out his Instagram as well because he takes an absolutely stunning photograph. So yeah, myself, as I say, I've had 6 fish now up to about mid-35. Before I went around and reeled in earlier on, I put another bucket of bait over the right hand spot that's been doing me 5 of the 6 bites, and I've moved a rod from my long left hand set of rods over to that spot now. So I'm hoping that having 2 rods out there won't blow my chances, and instead will actually maximise bites as the fish come into that area, having 2 rods there. So fingers crossed that pays off tonight. I've left a rod out there on the long spot because it has done me a bite, so there's always chance that they're going to push off, coming back through to the deeper waters later on in today. On Brocard Small, Richard and Ian have been absolutely smashing it as well. They've had loads of fish. Ian had a triple take today, so absolute carnage, and they're doing really well over there. Lots of nice fish. Actually a better stamp of size compared to Brocard Large at the moment, even though the lake has got generally a smaller stock. So they're doing really, really well. No massive ones yet, but fingers crossed. We're hoping that some of the bigger girls will get on the feed later on in the week, and we'll have a few really nice fish in here because Brocard Large has some absolutely monstrous fish in here. So yeah, and the other news around the lake is that Matt, he was in the swim with me, has taken the bold move of moving out of a swim that was doing fish into another peg. He hasn't had a bite for 24 hours now, and he was fishing the deeper water. So he's decided to take the brave gamble of going up to peg 12, which is a really shallow end of the lake, but we have seen a fish show up there and we're getting really bright daytimes. So in the spring, it can sometimes be a great shout to go check out the shallow areas of a lake because the fish are going to be seeking warmth and it's shallow. The sun's going to be on it over the next couple of days, even though the nighttime temperatures are really cold. So fingers crossed he has a big chunk from there. It's a brave move to move out a swim where he had 5 fish already, but as I say, he hasn't had a bite for 24 hours, so hopefully that will turn out to be the right move for him. So yeah, my rods have gone out there nice and sweet tonight. As I say, I've had a little play around moving them around. Exactly the same setup, same bait mix up that we've already shown you. So fingers crossed you'll catch up with me in the morning with a great big fish. Okay, good morning. It's a very foggy morning behind me this morning over on Brocard Large, but we're away. This is fish number 8 for me. I had that nice mirror last night at 35 pounds just on dark, and this one's come from the other rod on the same spot, so it was a good move putting that rod over onto that spot. But yeah, so this fish is insane. It's only small, but the fins on it are absolutely huge. I've never seen such big fins on a small fish. Crazy. But yeah, great to get off the market. It was a lot colder last night, probably down to 1 degree, something like that. I think it knocked the fishing on the head. I know a couple of the other guys have caught. I've seen it on our group, so yeah, absolutely made up. Still catching them. They're still out there, I think. Not that I've seen any, but yeah, I haven't put the rod back out there because I didn't want to disturb that spot because the other rod still sat out there nicely. So plan today is for us to all reel in and go for a nice Chinese together, have a proper social, catch up with the whole team, because it's a massive lake here, 39 acres, and we're all scattered around it, so it isn't the most social, so we're going to all reel in, as I say, have a nice Chinese in the town, get back and get the rods out for dark. So fingers crossed I'll have a fish to show you soon. If not, I'll catch up with you this afternoon. Alright, so here we go, fish number 9. This one is an absolutely stunning linear. When I was playing it, it was actually taking line at 28 reps out. I thought it could have been a much bigger fish. It kited, took me down into the margins, gave me a run around really, which none of the others have, so I thought this was a monster. It's a really long, lean fish, so loads of power in it. But how about that? Absolutely stunning linear for France. Absolutely buzzing with this one. From my long range rod, as I said, once again, half a code wafter topped off with a bit of yellow corn, plastic corn. Absolutely nailed. Yeah, buzzing. All right, spin it around, take a look at the other side. I've only got one rod left out there now because it's so foggy I can't see my marks. I know I didn't want to recast the other rod and risk spooking the other rod on the spot, and this one came from the other spot, so now that one's not out there either. So one left out there, but not too worried, because if that one goes as well, it'll be made up. I think there's a chance of it because that spot's been undisturbed since I had that fish earlier. It's looking good for it, to be honest with you. So let's lift her up and have a look at this side. Again, absolutely stunning. Buzzing. What a great week it's turning out to be. I was a bit nervous the first day after I'd blanked for 24 hours or so, nearly 40 odd hours, but it's come good now. We just need one of them real big French ones to come along next. Buzzing. Right, let's slip it back and see if we can nick another one. Alright, so it's now the afternoon. I'm just back from the Chinese with the guys, had a couple of beers and a really nice Chinese buffet and a bit of a social with them. I'm now going to get the rods out, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk to you about the spots behind me that I'm fishing. I'm fishing 2 different spots, and I have been since I got here. It's really important when you're in France and back home in some situations not to be moving around all over your swim. Keep your bait going into one area, keep it going in consistently, and the fish will turn up and you will end up having a few. So out in front of me when I got here, I had a little lead about. I knew it was pretty silty and not much out there anyway, but just for my own peace of mind, the first day, just give yourself a good leading around just so you've got pictures so you don't have to do it later on in the week. Now out behind me is about 4 foot universally. It drops down as we go to the shallower end towards peg 12, down to about 2 foot, and over towards peg 6, the other side of me, it does drop down. There's a few holes of about 5-6 foot in places, but generally it's more around 4 foot. So out in front of me, as I say, I've got about 3.5, 4 foot. So it's very flat, very silty, clay kind of bottom, so nothing out there to worry about, no weed. So I just picked a nice range. So my left hand rod is at 28 wraps, out in front of me with a horizon marker that I picked out when I got here, and I've just been baiting that consistently. I started with 2 rods on that spot, but it was only doing the odd bite when my other spot was doing more bites, so I've now got 2 rods on the other spot and 1 on this. So we're going to get that out there in a minute, but my other spot is at 25 wraps, so a little bit closer, 100 yards, and as I say, that's now got 2 spots close together, and it's the same, about 3.5 foot, very flat all over. So your bait is the feature, so put a bit of bait out there, keep it tight and consistent, and the fish will turn up. So yeah, that's very simple with the spots. We're going to turn around, we're going to get this rod out there and hopefully nick another bite. Alright, so what after felt like a very long 24 hours or so without a fish, finally got another one in the net. Fish number 10 for me. That's 34-pound common. Absolutely buzzing with this. Gave me a hell of a beating, both on the mat and while I was playing it actually, unlike all the other fish that were coming really slowly. So absolutely made up with this one. Beautiful clean common. Yeah, once again, code wafter. Little yellow bit of maize. This is the rod that I'd actually swapped to just putting boilie over to see if I could pick up a bigger fish. So it's done a bite still, just on pure code out there. So yeah, absolutely made up. We'll spin around, have a look at the other side, if she's going to behave. But yeah, the rest of the lake has been really quiet. A couple of the other guys have gone now. Jerome and Dean had to head home, so it's just me and the other Matt and Greg from France still left on the lake. So spin this around. It's not gonna play ball that way. Still super lively. There we go. Quick look at the other side. Super lively fish. Gave me a right beating there in between. Just had to calm it down a bit. Give it a second before filming the other side. But yeah, 34-pound common, Brocard large, absolutely buzzing. Rods are back out there, so fingers crossed for another one. Still got one night left to go, so there's definitely a chance still, but it's been a lot quieter the past 24 hours since the temperatures have dropped, but yeah, made up. Right, slip this one back and see if we can nick another one.
So after about, what, 10 minutes of putting it out, 2 trigger embuteric pineapple, 118mm, topped with a 12mm. Yeah, 10 minutes later it's away. Barely got the other rod out. So happy days, bigger than my last one, which is all you can ask for.
Here we go, fish number 11. It's been quite a slow day today. Had one earlier on this morning, but the wind's hacking into this corner and it seems to have really brought them in with us because Matt's moved in next to me and he's had a run already as well. And well, I've now had 2 today. So after 24 odd plus hours of no bites, it's starting to look promising for the last day. Just need to get a little bit bigger than this, so it's not exactly a big fish Friday with this little scamp. But yeah, still lovely, nice fish, number 11, on the code again. We'll slip it back, get the rods back out there and hopefully end the week with a nice big whacker.
So, yeah, so on the last night of the trip now, currently on 8 fish, so not too bad. I said before I left England and come here that 5 fish I'd be happy with, so I've done more than that, so yeah, I can't complain. Just literally lost a fish at the net as well, so yeah, there's fish obviously still out on my bait. Just run through sort of tactics that I've been using, sort of a noodle combi rig, shall we say. It's what I use at home. Literally just gives me a chance to just quick change the hook, bait. All I have to do is just, you know, heat the kettle up and do the shrink tubing. So, but yeah, that's what's been doing me the bites. Bait that I'm sort of fishing that over is flaked maize, maize itself, and pigeon conditioner, and obviously the embuteric, pineapple embuteric boilies. So yeah, basically a whole concoction in there and just keeps the fish scrubbing around and just, yeah, keeps them coming back, and hopefully that'll do me a nice fish tonight, or if not, I'll be a happy man and go home with a sort of my head held high, should we say. So yeah, nice one.
All right, so here we go. It's been a bit of a flurry of bites and we've got the 12 fish for the session. Nice little common. Sadly they seem to be getting smaller, not bigger, but there we go. The rod's back out there on the money. Just put 5 or 6 spods over the top. Nothing crazy because we're going tomorrow, so just try and nick all the bites we can until we go. So fingers crossed for another one. We'll just spin this one round. Lovely little thing, one for the future. Sadly not what I was after at the moment. We just want one last big one to finish the trip off between us, really. Preferably a few each would be ideal, but that might be being greedy. Right. The weather behind us is absolutely bob on for it. Lively little one. Oh, getting soaked. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. The wind is hacking into our corner now. We're now the only ones left on the large lake. A couple of the other guys have gone home. So yeah, there's 2 of us now, me and Matt, peg 5, hoping for a big one to slip up on the last night. There we go. Lovely clean fish again. Brocard large, on the code. Lovely job. Slip it back and see if we can catch a big one.
Okay, this week we've had a bit of a friendly competition. It was for the biggest fish of the week, and the award goes to Jerome. Well done, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. I want to say thank everybody for the nice social this week.
Yeah.
We had some great time, really good laughers, and we did some perfect Chinese buffet.
We did.
Yeah. So yeah, thank everybody. I see you guys next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Happy
Well
days.
done.
Happy days.
Alright, so it's the final morning. We've just got the rods left out now, and it was a really quiet night for me last night, which is weird because I was having a few bites in the day and it was looking really good for it, but as soon as it started to get dark, it all went quiet for me. Matt next to me had another 2 during the night, a couple of smaller commons, but good for him to get back in the swim and have a couple of bites. But yes, the week done really. It's absolutely flown by. It's been really great seeing a lot of the other members of the Nutrabaits team, some of them meeting them for the first time. It's been great fun fishing in this swim with Matt. And yes, a great little venue really. It's definitely one to check out. Check out Brocard on Scaly Waters on their Facebook page. Thanks to them for having us down here, and also Richard Logan for organising the whole thing, and of course Nutrabaits for providing us with a lot of the bait. So yeah, absolutely great week. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you click like and subscribe down on the bottom, and we'll catch you in the next one.